Hey friends, it's Kristi, and I am here with Teri Lawrence, the Realty Lady. She is an expert real estate agent with United Preferred Real Estate here in Central Florida. And Teri comes with a very cool background that most people don't get to say. She is a native.
I am.
Born, raised, stayed, and selling this great area. Tell us a little bit, like, where were you born? Where do you live now?
I was born in Orlando in a hospital called Orange Memorial, which is now a big hospital. Don't even remember the name of it down in Orlando. Sorry, I just don't, because I don't live in Orlando anymore. So I currently live in Volusia County, and every 20 years I tell my husband I get 25 miles closer to the beach. So when I'm 108, I'll live on the beach. So there. Went to Boone High School, which is in Orlando. From there, I moved to Seminole County and graduated from Lyman. So I know the area very well. I'm pre-Disney, so I was here before Disney was. Not telling my age. But, so we got to grow up and see a lot of the change in this area, monumental change in this area. And the places that used to be pasture land or orange groves and things like that are now subdivisions and apartments. And it's amazing when I can actually go out and drive to like Winter Garden and Apopka and those areas that used to be nothing but way out in the boonies, as they said. They're progressive and growing and thriving. Beautiful downtowns too. So, fun shops.
I love that. And I love the perspective that you get to bring because you are a native. You know this area like the back of your hand. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so awesome. Very good. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to ask that we get a little bit closer.
Okay.
You won't be able to tell from there, but you have a softer voice than I do. I want to make sure it's picking you up. Okay, anything else, or do you want to say anything different? Like, do you want me to prompt it differently and you can tell a similar story?
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good. I think that's good.
Yeah. Sometimes the answer comes out a little bit different, or maybe my question didn't prompt you properly, and so if we want to do it a second different version on anything that we talk about.
If you want to prompt me again, that's fine.
No, I think it was great. So, but if if in our conversation together you don't get to say what you want to say, we'll take to it. You know what I mean?
Good.
Okay. All right. I've got a good one for you. Ready?
Okay.
Hey, it's Kristi, and I'm here with Teri Lawrence. She's the Realty Lady at United Preferred Real Estate here in Central Florida. Teri, I remember not too long ago, you had a cast on your arm. It was a story that broke my heart a little bit, but also made me laugh at the same time. Can you tell us what happened?
Well, I was meeting some people, and I met them at an open house, and things happen, and as people who do things in real estate and otherwise, we all know to look for shifting pavers and things like that. Well, I tripped over one and actually broke my right arm. Fell right on my face, had a nice goose egg on my chin. Looked real cute. And so I didn't know that I broke my arm actually until I tried to push myself up.
Oh.
And then I thought to myself, oh my goodness, this is not right. And I said, this is not good, because many years ago I broke my leg and I know what that feels like. It had a different feeling. So I said, this is kind of weird. So anyways, I had my people that were with me, and we were going to go look at a couple houses after the open house. And I like to meet my people at an open house. I want to preface that, because if they are interested in the open house, I have an actual physical idea of what it looks like.
Yeah.
And I feel if I don't show up for them and they like the house, I can't really represent them in negotiations or anything correctly.
Smart.
So I always like to meet them at open houses. And which is kind of sort of what I did. And so we had a couple houses out in the Orlando area to look at after the open house. So when I finally got up and got to my car, I realized this is not good. And they said, well, go ahead and go. They told me to go ahead and go and get myself looked at. I said, no, I'll be fine. We'll go to the other houses. So off to the other houses we go.
How are you driving with your left hand?
Left-handed. My arm was this way and I'm driving this way. So it was really interesting. We got through the 2 showings and I got home, and when I called my husband and said, honey, I broke my arm, and he's all going, I'm coming to get you. I said, no, I'll be home in a couple hours. And so I went and home, and then we went to the emergency room.
Oh my gosh. Teri, I don't know if this is resilience or stubbornness, but you are so committed to your people and your profession that you pushed through the pain, through the awkwardness, and you just kept going. And then you're like, I'll cast this up later at the emergency room in a few hours.
Well, yeah. There wasn't anything sticking out, and I had it to a place where it was pretty much immobilized, and I knew that if I needed help opening doors or anything else, I could always ask my people to help me, because they would have helped me. And they helped me out originally because they brought me things to stop the bleeding, and I had essential oils in my car, so I oiled myself up, and on we went. So yeah,
Goodness.
it was fun.
The level of dedication you have for your clients is just unmatched.
No, I think it's not necessarily dedication. I think it's more, to me, is more, it's more like I am having empathy with them in their situation and looking for a house, and I get overwhelmed and caught up in their enthusiasm. And it seems like I do that all the time. And I look forward to looking at houses with them, even though as a realtor we see houses, tons of houses all the time. But if you're looking through a buyer's eyes, it's different.
That's extraordinary. It sounds to me like you're really committed to the outcome that they're seeking. And no matter what, you're seeing it through.
I remember I bought a house, my first house one time. I remember what that was like.
Yeah. Was it a good experience for you buying your first home?
I bought it through a builder. Yes, it was, and I did not use a realtor, and I am so sorry I didn't, because I ended up later understanding that there were upgrades galore that I missed. And builders usually will not walk you through. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't, but if you don't have somebody negotiating with you, sometimes that makes it a little difficult. But I got what I wanted, and then when I bought our second house with my husband, it was his first house, I got to enjoy the ride all over again from a different perspective. So yeah.
That was awesome. And that was before you got into real estate?
That was before I got into real estate, yeah.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that story. It's so good.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was a fun time. It was a stressful time, but it was a fun time.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah, you know firsthand.
I do. Yes, I do.
Very good. All right. I'm going to ask you next what got you into real estate.
Oh, what got me into real estate?
Okay, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Hey friends, it's Kristi. I'm here with Teri Lawrence, the realty lady with United Preferred Real Estate. And Teri, I want to know what brought you into this great industry of real estate?
Oh my. That is a really good question, actually. That is a very good question. Long story short, I was in a different profession that was totally opposite real estate. So when I got out of that profession and my husband wanted to buy a house, of course I went with him looking, and the realtor that we had was a local realtor, and she was a little spitfire, and she took us to, we were one of those buyers. Oh my gosh, we saw like 42 houses, one of those buyers. And she was patient and she was diligent, and we kept her revved up on Starbucks, and she just had a good time. We'd go and pick her up and take her and drive her all over the place, and she would just go with us and open doors and say, let's go see. And she held the enthusiasm through all those houses with us. And I think that was really a very interesting dedication that she had. I had not seen that before. I had not.
Wow.
So she told me that I would make a good realtor. And I said, you got to be kidding me. She said, no. She said, you're good with people. So that's what started it.
I love it. And since then, how long ago was that?
10 years ago.
Okay, so your 10-year journey, you are very invested and very much involved with the Women's Council of Realtors.
Yes, I am.
And you are a realtor through the National Association of Realtors.
Yes, I am.
Yep. And you also have some additional designations.
Yes, I do.
Yes, I'm looking at one of your pins right now, and it says GRI. What does that stand for?
That is Graduate Realtor Institute.
and it's somewhere around 120 something hours
About
of
that.
additional
Right,
training.
yes. Mhm.
Yes, and we looked this up.
Mhm.
Only about 10% of
Of the
realtors, not
yes.
even real estate agents, because realtors are in a different category than real estate
Yes, they are.
agents.
Mhm.
And so the 10% of realtors are GRI certified.
That is
That's
correct.
extraordinary. So you're in the top 10% as far as education
Mhm.
and specific guidance that you get to help your clients with. So do you feel like this additional training helps with both buyers and sellers when you're serving them?
Oh, yes, it does. It does. It really does. There's a lot of certificates and things that we can get, and to me, the GRI kind of puts it all into perspective. I'm going to throw this out to you also. I am also an MBA, so I enjoy learning. I do love learning because learning gives you it opens up doors and gives you a way different perspective on just things. And so the opportunity to do a GRI, I felt like it added, I could take from my MBA and put into there. Yeah, they're really two different areas, but they're not, because it all is about business and that type of stuff. So the professions kind of mingle together. And to me, it was an enhancement on my MBA.
I love that. And something that just really elevates you from the average agent that's out there. That designation is just exemplary. So I wanted to make sure that we shared that with
Well, thank you.
your
I
audience.
appreciate
Yeah,
that, and I
thank you.
enjoy my GRI. I do.
Yes.
I do. It's a point of pride for me because I know that I worked for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. A
Mhm.
lot of work for that. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay. Next topic. Oh, we were talking about like staging. I want to spotlight some of the things that you are really great at without giving away your special sauce. You know what I mean?
As
So you
far as
talked about
staging
like,
goes?
well, no, just like how you serve your clients. You know, you said that you help out with staging,
Mhm.
and a lot of agents don't do that,
Mm-mm.
right? Anything that you want me to prompt you on as far as how you come to the price recommendations, or how you prepare sellers if they're considering, or like if there's an opportunity to attract a certain seller right now, let's create a video for that.
Okay.
What would you like your next listing to be?
Oh,
And then we'll make a video topic on it.
okay. I would like to have my next listing to be more on the, I'll tell you what, I have helped all kinds of different things. I've helped distressed sellers.
Well, why
Oh,
don't
we
you
can talk about
right
that.
right now just talk about the different kinds of clients you've served.
Okay, so I have served what I would call semi-luxury people, all the way down to distressed sellers. Distressed sellers are those people that have to leave. They have to move for whatever reason, be they behind in payments, or there's 100,000 different reasons that people can
Job loss,
illness,
death in the family.
Death in the family, which is the last distressed seller. That's what I had, and through that emotional, that's a big emotional thing. Through that, it took quite a while because we had to go through probate and a couple of other things because when they did a deed, a quit claim on the deed, sorry about that, when they did the quit claim on the deed wasn't listed properly, so it was a 50-50. And so when the other part of the home ownership died, that left the owner with only a 50% ownership in the home, so we had to take it through probate. It was a family member. We did have to take it through probate, but that prolonged everything. And they had gotten behind on, of course, the payments and everything, so we were coming up on foreclosure. It was a toughie, boy, it was a toughie, and we walked out of there having the house sold for what was needed. The house needed loving kindness, lots of it, TLC, but we walked out of there within a very few days of foreclosure.
Wow. Okay, so what I just heard, because for the average bear, they don't have any idea
Of
what
course not.
you just accomplished. When you've got the emotions going on with the death of a loved one, and
Yes.
then now the estate is taking over as far as decision making, but you now have to go through the probate courts in the state of Florida and get a judge who does not know you or any of the parties involved to bless the sale of this transaction.
Mhm.
All the while, there's no money to pay a
Mhm.
mortgage,
Yeah.
and so fees are adding up, late payments, and the threats of a foreclosure. If the bank, the lender, decides to foreclose,
Mhm.
that's final.
That is final.
It's final,
That is
and you
very
can't
final.
erase that. You can't go back on that. You can't negate that. It's final. And you helped this family navigate through all of that.
All of that, yes.
That is so extraordinary. If you've ever bought or sold in a regular transaction, you know it's stressful enough on its own.
Mhm.
And for all of those additional layers, the calm and cool that I could imagine you brought to all parties to make sure that that happened is just unseen.
It was tough because you were dealing with a house that was totally, completely furnished. And so it was the decedent's personal belongings, so the family had to go back through and touch those things, to move those things out. And I was prepared to bring a company in to clean the place out for them. Unfortunately, would not have given them the opportunity to take what they wanted. It would be a complete clean out, but I had that ready to go because we were running out of time. And we were able to get through the personal property. We were able to get through the tears and the memories and the stories because you want to hear. You can't treat people like they're robots and nothing, but when you're dealing with something like that, you have to listen. You don't have to listen, but I listen because it's that person. I've lost loved ones, and I reminisce. And I know that my stories get old sometimes, I realize that. But it's still that person. And so I listened to the person. I listened about the person. I listened to the stories. I looked at the property. I even still have a couple pieces that I've got to give back to the seller. But each piece has its own little memory attached, and you can't diminish that. You just can't.
They say home is where the heart is, and that's where all of these memories have been made, you know?
That's true.
Kids raised there, maybe grandkids coming to visit, the losses and the loves, like all of it we work through and live through from the four walls of our home.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And the interesting thing is, especially because I was a renter before I was a homeowner, I didn't have the emotional attachment to my home. And before I got married, that was my home, and I had my dad in there, and friends in there, and family, and gatherings and things. And when I sold that, felt to me like I was selling those memories too, and it was tough. But I took the memories with me. I realized that later, but I took them with me. They just weren't in the same place, but now they were in my heart as opposed to contained in the walls. So it's a whole emotional attachment to things.
But what a beautiful perspective that you can help others see too, because you've lived that, and a lot of people don't understand it until they hear that guidance from you. Yeah. So real estate, from your perspective, it sounds to me like it's so much more than just guidance on what price to list the home at to get maximum dollar and attract the biggest buyer pool. It's more than just making some suggestions to make the home as attractive as possible. It's the emotional support and the hand holding through the process to say this is so much more than a real estate transaction, because it affects families and memories, and
it does.
Yeah, that's
and the amazing part about it is that a lot of people don't understand until they get to that final thing. If they've had years and years in a house, and seen family grow and stuff, they really don't have that connection until it's almost over with, and then it all comes flooding in. And I can take them and I can do the emotional back and family stuff with them, and also guide them, knowing that it is to other people nothing but a transaction, a business move. And unfortunately, that's exactly what it is. It is. But it also, to the seller or to the buyer, is going to be something that's going to represent family, good times, bad times, living through something, growing through something, and good times to come. Hopes and dreams.
That's right. That's
Hopes
right.
and dreams.
Oh, I love it. And our neighbors can become our extension of our family too.
They surely can.
Yeah, it's awesome when a new family moves in that will be a good fit with the next door neighbors and those kinds of things, to be able to carry on that torch of neighborly love, right?
That's true. And let me tell you a little story
Yes.
about when my husband and I bought our house. Had been looking at houses, those 42 houses, and we ended up going through our little town that we live in, and this little 8-year-old boy comes running out across the street and says, "Oh, the house that we were going to look at is for sale. You'll love this house. The house is wonderful, and you'll make good neighbors." Little 8-year-old boy. Well, my husband is a teacher, and my husband got to go to his graduation. We bought the house because of that boy. Seriously. We love the house, but we love the neighbors.
Oh,
So.
isn't that sad? That is such a special story.
Little 8-year-old boy telling us how great the house was and how great the lady was that was selling it and how great we'll be there.
And he wasn't lying.
And he didn't know any better. He was only 8.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
yeah.
He must have seen something special in you guys.
I guess he did. He's a young grown man now. Like I said, my husband got to be at him with graduation, and it was a real special thing for both of us. So, yeah,
That's so
it was
special.
cool.
I love those little glimpses that we get to see to just evidence that it's so much more than a real estate transaction.
It is so much more than a real estate transaction. And to you, I want to go to you because I met you at a time when I was looking, and now look at this. Here we are talking to them and us about this, and this thing called real estate. And look at where it has gone.
Yeah.
What a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So much has changed in the real estate market in the last 10 years. What would you say is the most significant change as far as how it affects maybe sellers and buyers that you've got to experience through your 10-year journey?
I think the biggest thing was, of course, the NAR settlement, National Association of Realtors settlement. It gave a little bit more legal process to this, and it has made it more business-like and kind of taken the edge off of the relational-like. And so realtors like to bring the relationship back in. And I think that there's a workaround on the legality, not physically a workaround, but an emotional workaround on the legality of it, and not seeing so stark and harsh. And you can put life back into asking for buyer's agreements and all that other type of stuff. You can put life back into it.
That's so good. For somebody who might be listening in and doesn't understand what that is, about 2 years ago, this new requirement came into play.
Yes.
And it was due to maybe some agents out there that were suggesting that some parts of the transaction were not negotiable. And it brings some clarity with this, but also some additional paperwork. And with additional paperwork, more problems, right? Additional paperwork, it does, to your point, it gets in that way of like, I'm here to serve you, I'm here to solve your problems, to help you find what it is, and then negotiate the very best terms to the transaction as possible, representing your best interests, those kinds of things. And before we can do any of that, sign here. And it feels a certain way.
Yes, it's very standoffish, it's very cold. And the thing about it is, we all like to joke, haha, it's like, here we're getting married,
Yes.
We're dating and then we're gonna get married. But really, it's not like that, really. It is a business transaction, but I kind of like to look at it and say, you're gonna hire me, so I want you to know I'm gonna do the best I can for you. But I want you to know, this is what it is, and this is going to be an agreement, so you know what you want. And I know what I want, and we agree on what we want, we can negotiate it.
Yes. I think it hit the industry so hard just from this perspective because it hadn't been part of anything we knew. A few states like North Carolina, a few other states have been enforcing that for a lot of years, but it was so new for us. And real estate is a relationship business.
It is.
We've talked about all the things outside of what is the brick and mortar, the dwelling, the bricks and sticks of it, the heart of it all. And then when you go straight into signing this legalese feeling agreement, it does reposition things. But, I think about the agreement that I have with my accountant, right? She's going to do a bang-up job for me, and I'm going to sign this paperwork before she even gets started. So in other industries, it's very commonplace, but it was the exact opposite of what we experienced years of
Sure.
business leading up to
Sure.
it. So it definitely does change it. And I love your perspective that you are committed to helping it have a softer edge.
Yes, because I mean, I don't know anybody who likes to have contracts put in their face. I don't know anybody who does that, because then you want to go lawyer up, so to say, or do whatever, and that's a good thing in real estate, please be educated, and I'm here to help you get educated,
Yes.
and I'll tell you to go see an attorney if you want to. Up to you.
Yes.
And I will guide you to the best I can. I can't give you legal advice, but it is a contract.
Yeah.
So I need to let you know that it is a contract, so as nicely as I can put it, so it is understood that this is something that is going to be agreed upon by you and me, that this is what we're going to adhere to. So if you present it in a softer way, a little bit softer way, it's easier for them to get through the legalese. It's easier for them to get to the point where they understand that you're doing this not to capture them,
Right.
but they're doing this to ensure that they have good representation. And it really is about them.
That is a great perspective to present it to, and that's powerful. I just saw a headline where just since last quarter, so
Okay.
end of 2025, just since then, in the first 5 months of this year,
Mhm.
nationally there's an additional $1 trillion in equity. So part of it is people are paying down their mortgages,
Mhm.
and part of it is month after month, for most months and year after year, real estate continues to appreciate. So if
It
you
does.
own,
Mhm.
it's a great place to be.
It is. It is.
And there are people who are watching who might be considering selling, maybe buying their next place, maybe downsizing, maybe getting a little closer to the beach. Maybe their family is expanding, and their quality of life is maybe being affected because they bought that starter home, that little 3-bedroom, 1,400 square foot, and
Oh,
they had a
yes.
couple babies through COVID, right?
Yeah.
And so they've got a ton of equity and a really nice low interest rate,
Mhm.
and interest rates aren't as low. It may
No.
never be as low as where it was a handful of years ago. What would you say to the person who's like on the fence and they're like, I just don't know if this is the year to do it, knowing what you know, that every year appreciation is happening and real estate is a solid investment? What would you say to them if they're on the fence?
Ooh, that is such a good question, because I have come across that. I had actually some people that had procrastinated, I should say, for years before they decided to purchase. And they purchased their first home, being older people. And what was really cool about that, I'll tell you what was really cool about that, is being able to listen as to why they waited and now why they're going forward. Okay, we know that interest rates aren't like they were down in COVID time, and we know that house prices aren't like they were down in COVID time, and things are going up. So this should give people an indication that real estate, because they're not making any more property, they are not. You can't get any more land manufactured anywheres.
Not land, that's
Not
right.
land, you can't, but they're not making any more of that. So now, the way things are going, are we gonna have a crash? Well, I don't have a crystal ball, but I can see what's happening here, and it looks like prices have steady gone up. I don't think that they're going to come back down, and I think any time that you invest in something that's yours, I don't care what it is, instead of leasing a car, renting an apartment, I'm just saying, renting tools, anything that's yours, you're gonna take care of it, you're going to nurture it, and you're going to make sure it lasts. So that piece of property, that house that you're buying, though it might not be the same pre-COVID price, might be a little more, interest rate might be a little more, but it's still going to have the effect. You're owning a piece of the American dream, you're owning something that's going to prosper your life eventually.
Yes.
So if you can let people understand that it is proven that their children do better in school, they socialize better when they own their own property and stay in their own place. Consistency, I'll tell you what, it really does. It advances your life quality all the way around.
That's extraordinary. I saw a snippet from National Association of Realtors that was comparing the net worth of renters to somebody who owns a home.
Sure.
And it's just so vastly, it's wildly different.
Sure.
And I think I've gotten to that point in my life, like, if you think that it'll bring you joy, if you think that it'll bring you peace, if you think that it'll bring you a better quality of life, don't wait.
Don't wait, do it, yes. Yeah, because now is the time. You don't know, nobody, we're not promised a tomorrow. I don't want to be,
Right.
you know, I don't want to be definite like that, but the truth of the matter is, I mean, we're sitting here, both of us together, and we've seen life. And both, we can say, yes, it's true, we're not promised a tomorrow. My husband didn't, we bought our first house when or he bought his first house, I should say, when he was older. And to him, it didn't matter if he was 20, didn't matter if he was 50, didn't matter what age he was, that was his. That's his point of pride. That's his point of satisfaction. And since I've owned a house before, I like to see how he addresses each thing that comes up. Because with home ownership, you're going to have repairs and that type of stuff. You're going to have maintenance. But it's interesting to see how he approaches that. Because how he approaches it is he approaches it with positivity. He approaches it with the thought that he's going to make it better. Because this is our home.
Yeah.
This is where we live.
That's right.
And this is where I can have my peace. So he makes it into his place of peace. You can't do that if you're renting, because then you have to go by other people's guidelines.
It's absolutely the truth.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. Is there a wild story? Is there a crazy, like, how did we even get through this? Or is there something that was just really extraordinary, whether it was you representing a seller or a buyer, that you would choose to tell this story at a cocktail party?
Yeah, I've got a couple of them, but one of them for sure is we were buying a house. I had the buy side, and the lender ghosted us. It wasn't the buyer nor the seller. It was the lender that ghosted us, and I had Nick, my broker, walk me through it because it was just insane. It was insane. And there was no way we could close this deal. There was absolutely no way we could close this deal.
You have to.
And the buyer said, Teri, it will be okay. We're going to do this. This is my house. It's my house. I prayed for this house. This is my house. And I said, we even had sent out the cancellation notice, had it signed. It was done. It was a done deal. And she said, nope, this is my house. I prayed for it. And by goodness, by gar, I was able to get a hold of that lender. The lender did whatever was necessary, got everything approved, got it on the table, and the sellers said, okay, we'll finish this, and we were able to finish it in 2 weeks. And she walked away with her house, and I was standing there just scratching my head saying, what just happened here? It was amazing. It was the greatest ride that I think I've ever had. It was amazing. Because I'll tell you what, she went in with faith knowing that she was going to have a house, and she said that I came and found you because I knew you could do this. And she said, here we are. And I stood in the kitchen of the house with her after she had the keys, scratching my head saying, this was an amazing trip. That was amazing. And there's a lot more that goes with that, but that's really all I can share because I try and keep confidentiality too. But that was an amazing time. It restored my faith that things can happen even when they look dead. In the real estate industry, things can happen. Yeah, absolutely.
It goes along with that saying of don't get off the roller coaster ride in the middle.
No, don't. No.
You have to wait till the ride's over, and at the end, that's when you catch your breath.
Yes, but that was an amazing time, and it actually happened, and I actually saw it unfold in front of me. And if I hadn't been there, I probably wouldn't have believed it, but it happened.
Yeah,
it did.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's so good. Is there a story of a representation of a seller that stands out to you as something unique or special, or just one you'll always remember?
Ooh, I remember all of my sellers. All of my sellers are different personalities. All of them are selling for a different reason. I think the biggest thing with my sellers that I really look for is not necessarily the reason why that they're selling. although that does help, I think it's not really the motivation behind it 100%, because we all go through that, but it's like their actions going forward with it. I like to see them when they really get involved in the house and get involved in what was going on with the house and bringing it to a point where we can get it on the market, because there is emotions that are attached to that too. Some people, because I think I told you I do stage or assist with staging. Some people like virtual staging, some people like physical staging, so I try and assist people with that. So it's giving people different perspectives of what their house can look like when they've done things. So I think that my thing with sellers, and my particular story with sellers, is that the best part of it is to see that you can give them an idea of something that their house could have been. And it kind of changes their perspective when they go into their new house, because they sometimes open up their eyes and say, hey, I don't have to live with my couch this way anymore, I can change it. I don't have to have a couch there, I can put a chair, you know. And so I've seen people that actually kind of sort of come alive.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's really kind of neat.
I love that. It's funny how we can almost become attached to some of the things just the way it is, and then you get to bring in this new perspective, and then they go, oh, I like that even better.
I've seen that happen.
Change the next chapter of their life for them, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
A lot of times it does. Because a lot of times people have different reasons to sell, but if you have people that are like downsizing because they've had the big family and they've had the huge Thanksgivings and the huge Christmases, and now their family is spread out all over the United States, and instead of the huge thing, they want something small where they can go and be at their kid's house or be at their grandkid's house or whatever. And so they have all these things that are big and they don't see small. So it's easy when you can come in and show them, especially give them an idea and say, well, you know, you don't really have to have this here because this can go here, because when you stage, you don't stage hugely, you stage kind of minimally and clean it up as much as possible, so you have a lot smaller things in there. And so when they start seeing that, they realize that those things that they had, sometimes they can take them with them and reuse them in a different area. And sometimes it's better just to start all over, something new, something fresh, with a fresh idea, a fresh perspective, a fresh flower in their, you know, pocket, and go for it.
I love
So,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Awesome. This time has been extraordinary with you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, and us getting to know you a little bit better, and the professional that you are, and the impact that you have, not only in your community but in the industry. You are remarkable, Teri.
Well, thank you very much. I think you're pretty remarkable too.
Thank you. Thanks for being here with us.
Can we talk about you doing credit? Can we do that?
We can.
Because, I mean, the people that hear this, yeah, I'm a realtor.
Yes.
And you're a lender, but also you have some really unique perspectives to help people to come to me.
Yeah, so a lot of times buyers will start the conversation with you.
Yes, they will.
And it's important to have that rapport built and that relationship built, but if they require financing, we've got to start the conversation. And so you know, it's not scary. It can feel scary, but I'll make sure it's not scary. And a lot of times most people just need a little bit of guidance. They need some guidance on how much to save for. A lot of times there's a myth, oh, I've got to have 20% down, and we know that that's not the case.
Yes, that's a myth.
And there's a lot of programs out there, from down payment assistance programs to having a second mortgage behind an FHA where you can get 100% financing.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't require you to be a first-time home buyer. There's no income restrictions, those kinds of things. And then sometimes people will say, I've been through it. I lost my job, or I went through a divorce, or you know, I had an illness or something, and I was late on these payments, or you know, I wasn't making good choices for a while, and now I am. And so I can help them to focus on the things that are required to help improve their credit, to get them into an interest rate, because your credit score is the most impactful thing on your interest rate. And a lot of people don't realize that, oh, just put more money down. And That's a strategy, it's not the strategy. And so if we can spend a little bit of time up front improving credit, and so a lot of times it's something as simple as becoming an authorized user on a family member or friend's credit card, so you can utilize their long-standing credit, and then I've had it be 100 and some odd points, almost within weeks on somebody's credit report.
That's amazing.
Without
That's
having
amazing.
to go into debt.
And see, the thing that I really like about this particular conversation is because I try to do my preferred lender. Say, here we go, we're going to talk to my preferred lender, because I am a realtor, I'm out here looking at houses, I'm not doing the paperwork on the loans. So, there's things that are coming down the pike that I don't know about until later, until I get with you, or I go to training class or something like that, to hear about the new products, to hear what can be done. And there are such amazing things out there. And this is why, to me, people like you are so important.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, there, for first-time home buyers, somebody who's wanting to buy and sell at the same time.
Yep.
We've got bridge loan products that allow them to pay off and sell their home, their current home, after they move into the new home.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of different strategies to help make it as smooth and enjoyable as possible. So thank you for that opportunity.
Well, you're welcome, because I learn from it every day, every day. Yeah.
Awesome. This has been a great time together. Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kristi.